I'm Alexis Del Cid, and I hope you're all having a wonderful start to 2026. Our team is taking this month to gather phenomenal news stories and topics for our next season of All Things Heart, beginning the first Thursday of February. And we already have some great patients lined up for you, like this Alaska man, Bart Rudolph, who chose to fly from Alaska to the University of Kansas Health System for his open heart surgery because there was no place he trusted more. And then Ryan Azuz, a young man living with an incurable disease who's joined his second clinical trial to help find a cure that could help others in the future. We are excited for what's to come. Until then, please enjoy this Encore presentation.
You know, the eye-opener was when we recognized and did that genetic test. That was the key right there.
This former Kansas City Chiefs player is used to battles on the field. His new opponent is inside his chest. On today's All Things Heart, we explain his heart condition and his mission to educate others. Good morning, I'm Alexis Del Cid. Welcome back to All Things Heart. Kansas City Chiefs fans, you likely know the name Art Still, a standout defensive end and a Kansas City Chiefs Hall of Honor player. But across the community, he's also known for another reason entirely. He is a passionate advocate of ATTR amyloidosis awareness.
Look at that, man.
If you ask 69-year-old Art Still what he loves most in this world,
Oh, she's my favorite.
family is at the top of his list.
Ooh.
Gotta climb up.
Uh-oh.
With his wife of 42 years, 5 daughters, 6 sons, and their 26th grandchild on the way, he certainly has plenty of family.
Whoa.
His other passion? Football, which is why if you're a longtime Kansas City Chiefs fan, you likely recognize him. Chosen by the Kansas City Chiefs as the second overall draft pick in 1978. For 10 seasons, Art Still was a defensive end for the Chiefs. He played another 2 seasons in Buffalo. Years later, when he developed back, shoulder, knee, and hip problems, along with a ruptured bicep and carpal tunnel syndrome, he chalked it up to his years in the NFL.
You're having wear and tear.
He did not know that these were actually symptoms of a terrible disease brewing in his body that also affects the heart. ATTR amyloidosis. He was diagnosed in 2023. He then discovered 3 other family members had also suffered from ATTR amyloidosis.
I got a nephew, he passed away 4 years ago. Come to find out that he had not only sickle cell, but he had amyloidosis too.
And when Art learned that ATTR amyloidosis is prevalent in the African American community,
That's when the light started shining.
he made it his mission to go public and educate others, partnering with University of Kansas Health System transplant cardiologist Dr. Zubair Shah. Dr. Shah is also director of the Cardiac Amyloid Program.
You can see it in his eyes. He's just a straight up guy, and he's sincere in what he's doing.
And now Dr. Shah is not only Art's teammate off the field, but also an extended part of Art Still's beloved family.
I look at Dr. Shaw as a friend. I look at him, I use my brother from another mother.
We are so happy to have 2 brothers from another mother.
Oh,
we
yeah.
have Dr. Zubair Shah, Art Still. We also have Art's wife, Liz, joining us. And we have our nurse practitioner who is an ATTR amyloidosis specialist, Dr. Dana Miller. I want to call you doctor. You work so closely with Dr. Zubair Shah. We're going to get to that in a minute. But Art, first, before we get into the medicine, congratulations, because you and Liz expanded your family again. You have 2 new grandbabies.
Oh yeah, we just recently, a couple weeks ago?
Yep.
We had one, and I always tell people, I still got life in me. I'm still having kids. my age extension, network marketing, just that's part of the brand.
You have a huge family. It's so fun.
Yes.
So fun seeing that family. How's everybody doing? You feeling good?
Everybody's doing pretty good. And I know we're talking on the subject and all too, and it's just kind of funny that our daughter, Kaylani, had just had the recent child and all too. She just found out that she had that variant and all too, that gene variant of the ATTR amyloidosis and all.
So raising awareness and making sure people get screened has been hugely important, and you're doing it right now. You're such a shining example of doing that in your own family. We're going to get to that in a minute. I do want to talk about your symptoms, because it makes complete sense that all those symptoms we listed you would attribute to wear and tear from being in the NFL.
Yes.
They sound like sports injuries.
Yes.
Were those the main things that you just wrote off as sports injuries? What were some of the big ones?
It was all of them. You know, it was just kind of funny because I can trace it back to 1990 when I retired. 1990, Dr. Weiss did some work on my shoulder up in Buffalo and all. He said, "Don't be surprised if your bicep tendon tear." Within a year or so, and that's where I got a bad taste on doctor. I said, man, because it did tear. And I'm thinking he went in there and messed something up. Yeah, I'm blaming him. And then progressively everything up until the heart issues, which was about maybe 10, 15 years ago, you know, that
something else was going on.
Yes, and we done seen many doctors in between that time too.
Liz, you've been married to an NFL player. You've been together 42 years.
Yes.
So you're used to seeing him in pain.
Yes.
I would imagine, after games and recovering.
Well, I was thinking more. She gets upset at me and she makes you stand and no, that's senior Liz.
You like to tease her. What do you call her?
That's my parole officer. I got 42 years and I got a life sentence, and it's not that bad.
Yeah.
They're so fun to watch interact. You're both so healthy, though. You've talked about keeping this pristine diet. You're in shape. Were there any other changes, Liz, that you noticed in your husband that you thought, this might be more than NFL, than injuries?
I did not. I actually did not until it started hitting his heart. When he had gone and the cardiologist had said, oh, you're an AFib. We didn't know what that is, right? At the time, we kind of knew, but it stayed in AFib and stayed in AFib. And then we started thinking maybe something else is here, but it took a long time.
What is the course of treatment? When we're going to get in what exactly is ATTR amyloidosis, but Dr. Shaw, you didn't treat Art, but you and Dana treat patients every day with ATTR amyloidosis. What is the course of treatment when someone is diagnosed with this?
So it starts with diagnosing ATTR amyloidosis. There are few other types of amyloidosis also, which we will go down in a second, but TTR amyloidosis itself is of two types. So let me go back a step. Amyloidosis simply means protein buildup where it should not be building up. And there are different types of proteins that can build up and cause amyloidosis. TTR is caused by, it's a short form for transthyretin. How they name amyloidosis is first alphabet is always A, meaning amyloidosis. Next alphabet or alphabets are the protein that is causing amyloidosis.
Oh, okay.
Like A, amyloidosis caused by TTR, which is short form for transthyretin.
And that's a kind of protein?
Yes, and there's second most common is light chains. That's A, amyloidosis caused by light chains. L, that's AL amyloidosis. So we have two main amyloidoses, ATTR and AL. And briefly on ATTR, we all have a protein, TTR protein or transthyretin protein. It's a physiological protein. Liver makes this protein, and it's a carrier protein. It's like a UPS truck that takes vitamins and thyroxine hormone from point A to point B and then is flushed out. We pee it out, it's flushed by kidneys. If this protein becomes unstable, breaks down into its fragments, those fragments are trapped, will not be peed out. And those fragments will build up on organs and cause TTR amyloidosis.
So that's what Art had. He had too many of these proteins settling in his heart?
His TTR protein is breaking down.
Okay.
Now, question is, why does TTR protein break down? There can be two reasons. One is age-related. For some reason which we don't know, after 60 years of age, this TTR protein becomes unstable in some people. We call it age-related or wild-type TTR amyloidosis. Other reason could be you are born with an unstable TTR protein. It's hereditary TTR amyloidosis. You are born with a gene mutation, and that's what Art has. He was born with the wrong TTR protein.
So Dana, have you had patients, the typical age it manifests itself would be 60? Have you treated patients that are younger than 60?
The majority of our patients are 60 and older.
60 and older.
Yeah.
But anyone can carry the gene.
So,
Of course. Yeah.
so as I said, there are two types. One is age-related. But if you are born with a defective gene, which we call hereditary TTR amyloidosis, it can manifest very young because you are born with the wrong protein.
Okay.
And my youngest
That's what-
patient is 23 or 24.
Oh, wow.
We have not treated her yet because she wants to complete her family. We don't have data on
Right.
medications during pregnancy. But that's my youngest patient. And some of these TTR mutations exhibit what we call anticipation, meaning next generation exhibits unfortunately earlier. They get disease earlier.
Okay.
So just to add, that's kind of what happened in Art's case, because he's, like he said, he started having symptoms a year after his retirement that looking back, and he was what, 37, 38? And we
And
didn't
all those
know.
muscle
It took
things.
25 plus years to get a proper diagnosis, and we didn't get that diagnosis until he was having major heart problems.
The whole time that you were feeling those symptoms of the Achilles tendon and different physical things, was it the protein settling into those muscles, just causing them to rupture?
Oh yes, that's a very good point. So what this TTR protein, it has special attraction for heart, it has special attraction for joints and nerves.
Okay.
And eats up all three organs. Joints especially, newer data is now showing patients who have TTR amyloidosis, they have up to 10 times more orthopedic problems.
Yeah.
Recently we published a paper,
Okay.
and it's now called orthocardiac syndrome. They have knee replacement surgeries, they have shoulder replacement.
Okay.
The biceps tendon
that
is
could
common.
be-
We call it Popeye's sign. How Popeye
Yes.
is. So there's a bulge on their arms.
You were like Popeye.
Yes.
Thinking that you were real muscular and it was your...
olive oil. But I was going to say, as
Yeah.
the doctor was bringing up and all, I have all those, as far as the carpal,
Sure.
trigger finger, both, and then both shoulders replaced. I have the neuropathy in all two of my feet. I thought that was from, doc saying you need a knee replacement, and it has somewhat gone up a little higher, but, taking the therapy right now, I think it kind of tempered it down somewhat. But those are things that you deal with back problems, stenosis of the back, and all those things, I was equating to, doing squats, running on the
course.
turf, and grabbing and all those types of things. And it's just kind of crazy that eventually what happened, we went down through the NFL, the national NFLPA and all, Players Association. We have a program. We go down to Tulane for this area for the Chiefs and other teams in this area and all. We go down to Tulane every 5 years, and that's when I found out through Dr. Keith Ferdinand. He's an African cardiologist down in New Orleans, down at Tulane, and he knew I was kind of adamant as far as medication, and I was going to do this all naturally and all.
Because you thought you were basically repairing your body from sports injuries.
Yes,
Yeah.
and that's what that's what my mindset was. Okay, I'm gonna change how I always ate pretty decent and all.
Are you a vegetarian? Did I read that
no,
correctly?
the thing is, it's just like even in the healthcare industry, things change, as far as stock practice. So, I used to be a vegetarian and all too, and then, doing the research, certain things you need.
Right.
And it's, again, I'm looking at myself personally. I'm not telling everybody to do the exact same thing. So Liz knows I modify things all the time.
You take very good care of yourself.
I try,
That's the point there.
I would have been working out this morning if I had this morning and all. So I'm at the W on the charge still. But the thing is, when Dr. Ferdinand asked me he knew I was adamant about drugs, and same thing with doctors. So he just sat us down, and Liz can explain.
Well, this was the second time we'd been there, so we were there in 2018.
So this is, just so our audience, this is a health care that you get when you're an NFL player.
Yes.
Yes.
You get these checkups every 5 years for the rest of your life.
Through the Players Association.
Right. So in a
Yes.
sense, football caused physical problems, but it saved your life.
To a degree.
Yeah.
It did.
So what were you going to say,
Situation.
Liz?
So when we were there in 2018, I don't know if this is typical of men or not, but so he would not tell. He would only tell what he needed to tell, and so
At the doctor or to you?
I knew.
Yeah.
She knows
I can
when I
see
lie all
things.
the
Yeah,
time. I lie all the time.
But so on the third day that we were there, the lead Dr. Stewart came in and was talking to me. And he said, "Liz, I have to tell you something. Your husband's going to die like that. And he's a jokester too, kind of. And he's like, I'm dead serious. He did not tell us he had these heart problems.
Oh my
and what's
gosh.
going on? So they kept him an extra afternoon to do extra tests on his heart. Told him to go back to see a cardiologist, which he wasn't real compliant. You weren't that compliant because he didn't want to take meds. And one of the reasons is because his older brother, who had a heart transplant like 13 years ago, Art watched him go through all the same stuff. He went and had carpal tunnel. He's having shoulder, both his knees replaced, both his shoulders replaced, and it's in his heart, and they're doing ablations and blah, blah. Then he ends up with a heart transplant, never knowing he had amyloidosis this whole time. So in Art's mind, he's like, I'm not going through that. I'll just, do what I have to do. So the second time we went back in 2023, Dr. Ferdinand said, there's no reason whatsoever that you should have heart issues. What's your family history? And he said, well, my brother had a heart transplant. And he said, go get a genetic test.
Well, and that's where everything kind of connected, because he had
That's the light bulb
everything.
moment.
And the crazy thing about that, because we look at our family, I got a brother who's married to Liz's sister. He has.
Time out. So your sister is married to his brother?
Yes,
Yeah.
my
That's
younger
kind of
sister's
fun.
married to his younger brother.
Okay.
Yeah, he's doing that bad. No, no, I'm just joking, man. I like to retract that statement. But the thing is, with him, he has everything I have, plus he's got a pacemaker and defibrillator in him. And so, that's why, one of the things, you start off thinking about your family, because, he's the same way. I got another sister. I don't want nobody to know my business, but it's not your business because it's your family business.
Right.
Because with us, we got the 26, grandkids. We got, 11 kids. And then, then from there, I was thinking, how about my NFL brothers? No,
Right.
They have all the same things too, and might be what we're talking about right now. So that's why we started, the program initially for, those players and those in the community and all too that support, the NFL and all.
So, Dr. Shaw, how did you team up with Art? Did someone tell you, I've got this NFL player that wants to talk to you, and what was your reaction?
So I want to take a step back how
Yes.
this all started. So we were talking about hereditary amyloidosis, and the biggest brunt of that affects African American community. That's how all the dots connect, and that's why the incidence would be higher and all the NFL players. So studies, cross-sectional studies among healthy African Americans have showed 4% carry the gene. That's a huge number. So 1 in every 25 African American is exposed to, has a gene.
And is this just in the United States?
Yes,
or
United
is this
States.
Across the world, the black
But across the world
population
also
is-
black. The most common hereditary amyloidosis is among black population, that is including America and whole world.
Why-
And this mutation is specifically called V122I.
And is that what you have?
Yes.
Yes.
So why is it that it's more prevalent?
I
in
mean,
the-
certain diseases are prevalent among certain races, ethnic group. This is
Right.
how it happened at some point during development. And it's an autosomal dominant mutation, meaning each kid has a 50% chance if one of the parents has gene mutation. So that's why it's so serious. We have 50 million African Americans in US, and 4% of that is 1-2 million at least have it.
And
But
so
we
many
are-
don't know.
Don't.
Yes.
Most
why
of
we
them
do
don't.
what
So
we
that's why it's an epidemic that we are not recognizing, and that's why it's so. That's why there is need for education. And I always wanted to educate our African American community about coming forward if they have these symptoms and doing gene mutation. And I think I saw their program one time. I saw Art speaking, and we somehow met. I don't remember, we somehow met and sat and said he already knew how important it is. He had suffered, his family was, and he told me all the great stories, and we said, hey, let's do something, let's educate. And since then we have gone to churches, we have gone to colleges and tried to raise the awareness.
What was your relationship like when you first met compared to now? Because you are always teasing Dr. Shaw, and Dr. Shaw's always teasing.
encourage him to be a better person.
Was it right away you felt this familiarity, or?
No, hey, the thing is, look at him, man. How can you hate a man like that? Look at that face,
What's
man.
not to love?
Yeah. I'm going to give him a big squeeze right now.
Yeah,
man.
I mean,
You can. You do it. Just don't fall off the.
I get texts from him all the time. It could be 11 p.m. Say, hey, Doc, I got something. What do you think about this?
Yeah.
Always energetic, always passionate
Right.
about education, and he will come up with all the ideas.
I love that.
Well, the thing
He
is,
travels nationally also, by
Yes.
the way.
well,
This
matter
has
of fact,
grown
we heading
nationally.
down to Memphis. We're going up to Pennsylvania, Kentucky, and all
Canton,
too.
Ohio. Yeah, we're going to
talking
be up
about
at the
this.
Hall of Fame.
And you're
But
always traveling,
But
educating.
Yeah.
the thing about this, and it's almost like putting things in context, is, you look at the NFL, and that's why I'm more so talking with, some of the ball players, a lot of the ball players, because like I said, I can track mine. So if you look at the NFL active ball players right now, there's about 1,800 African Americans playing.
Right.
So you figure between 40 to 50, there might be between 40 and 50 that may be carrying it right now that don't know
wild.
anything about it.
They
But
don't
then
know
you
about
take it from there, just like in my situation. They got family members. They got to
Right.
get it from someplace. And they got brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, grandparents.
People they love.
And then, you compound that with the community and all, like we're talking about, doing things in the community. But, of what I did in the past gives you a platform where people listen a little bit more than maybe, and it's a shame, like I say, the average person.
Okay. Oh.
I'm not average, Elizabeth? Okay.
What were you saying? Were you cutting him off? All right, honey, enough.
Hey, I forgot my medication. No, sorry. No.
Okay.
Don't take my medication.
No, go
this
ahead.
morning.
We have so many great questions and comments coming in, and I want to make sure our viewers have a chance to send them in. You can connect with us in real time on Facebook, YouTube, the All Things Heart email. All those ways to connect with us are right there on your screen. I do want to talk about the test you do to confirm a diagnosis. Dana, are you involved in that testing?
Yes, along with Dr. Shaw, we do a number of tests. Echocardiogram is important, technetium pyrophosphate scan, which is a nuclear study. Of course, genetic testing is really important to determine whether a person has wild type or hereditary. And then, of course, first step is to rule out the light chain amyloidosis.
Have you ever had, I got to get back to this, a patient call you a brother from another mother?
A lot of times.
Oh, a lot of times? So Art, you're saying Art's not special?
I mean, he is in other ways. We have a good
I'm gonna start crying right
I'm just
now.
poking the bear. I'm just poking the
but
bear.
keep in mind,
Down the
Alexis,
line, man.
he is not my patient.
That's true. That's true. You're right. You're right. I need to clarify that. They're not patients. They're friends and they're teammates in educating and awareness.
Yes.
That's all it's about.
Do you feel it's difficult to explain to people when you're out educating the public? Because it's such a complicated medical issue. I mean, it's hard to understand. Medicine is another language entirely. How do you break that barrier?
Well, I was going to say, one of the things initially and all, like Dr. Shaw and all, we've been doing recently. Matter of fact, we was back in New Jersey, where I'm from, Camden and all. We did a program at Dr. Kumar, which he's with Cooper Health, University Health and all. And it was more of an interactive thing, because a lot of times, what happens, and I know growing up in the hood, so to speak, the inner city and all, when people come in and you're throwing terminology and words and all that, even with me, when I found out that I had amyloidosis, they had the list of the symptoms, peripheral neuropathy. Oh, I don't have that. Stenosis I don't have that.
Right.
But when they started breaking it down to plain man's
What it
language and all,
is.
yeah,
Right.
swelling the feet, yeah, I got that. The back, I got the stenosis and all too. So what we've been doing, I think, saying Dr. Shaw and all, it's more making it interactive where you're having a conversation, Doc.
So smart.
And you're not sitting in there, giving a big lecture and all these PowerPoints, but you're getting right to the point. Doc will explain in layman's term and then interact with us as a caregiver, patient advocate, and ask us questions like we're talking about right now, and give people a better understanding.
That's so important. Actually, Dana, we do have a question about the symptoms, and I know we've got a full screen graphic that we were going to put up for this works out perfectly to go over them. What are these symptoms, if you can go through it and explain which ones are the most common?
So I think Art has done a really great job,
Yeah.
and Liz, saying these are all common red flag symptoms. Numbness or tingling in the hands or feet, specifically carpal tunnel syndrome,
Yes.
and most often both sides. Abnormal heartbeat, and you had said atrial fibrillation, recurrent, I believe. Some bruising, swelling in the ankles or feet, signs of heart failure, unintentional weight loss, and fatigue, which is seen in a lot of conditions, but primarily the orthopedic
I was
issues.
going to say, because Doc was asking me, we were just sitting there talking the last time, he said, you done lost weight. But the thing is, and it is,
Actually, he
about
put
a
on
couple of
weight.
months, I put weight on, I was down, I lost.
He was down like to 220.
And then I was taking my weight from
yeah.
the first time my primary doctor is Dr. Gary Thompson and all. That was 10 years ago, I was weighing about 290 something.
Yeah.
And then I got down to 220.
Oh, wow.
And all of us
so
were
it's-
going, you
Holy
need
smokes.
to put on weight. No, I think I feel good. No,
Yeah.
you're
Oh,
very
that's-
thin.
that's
Like,
huge.
very-
Yeah.
it was
That's a
very-
huge
And
drop.
then I'm back up to about 240 right now. So I put,
Yeah.
within a couple of months, I'm up
Yeah, it
240.
looks
you know.
way healthier.
We have a question from Jeremy Yenser. Jeremy wants to know, if you have that mutation, is it inevitable that you'll develop amyloidosis or just more likely? And if you find it early that you have it, is there anything you can do, or do you just watch and wait?
Excellent question.
Yes.
So there are up to 120 mutations that we know now. Although V122I that affects African Americans is most common, there is second most common is that affects Irish English. We call it T60A.
Irish.
Yes. So yes, I mean that's why it's so important. 60 to 80 million people have some Irish background, Irish English Scottish. So if you combine the two, you can know half of the population in US is at risk
Could
because
have
of
it.
their yeah. But anyways, so what we call, if someone has genotype, will they develop phenotype? Depends on what mutation we are talking about.
And phenotype would
Yes.
mean heart.
Yeah, heart, joints, nerves. So, but simple answer is not everyone will develop it, but we follow them very closely. If we see earliest sign, why it's very important to recognize, if we see earliest sign, we can treat it. And going back, you know how Art was told that he may not do well. Before we had treatments, the general from diagnosis to, I mean, once they were diagnosed, the overall survival was just 2 years.
And
See,
then,
before treatment era.
Right.
And it was even lower. Actually, we published it among African Americans because the reason was they were diagnosed late.
Wow.
Not because V122I per se is more aggressive, it's because they were diagnosed 1 decade later than other ethnic groups.
and I was going to say too, on top, when you saying Irish American, my great grandfather was full-blooded Irish. So we got,
Double
and
whammy.
we just went back to our family reunion, and you see from blonde hair,
Yeah.
Liz was there and all too.
Red hair, green
Liz
eyes,
thought she was going just with the homies. I said, no, there's some others in there too.
fit right in.
So it could have come from the Irish side.
I think it
No,
came
but
from
his
both
came
sides.
from
Both
His
sides.
from-
But my father,
Yeah.
yeah. But see, and then I'm thinking with my father, we can trace back to Guinea. They said a lot of that comes from the
Yes.
western
That's
part of
right.
Africa.
That's real.
That's where my father, you know, I got ancestries going back there and all too. So,
Arlene has a question. Arlene wants to know, this is for Art and Dr. Shaw, when is the next educational event? Do you have one on the books? And are they free? When are you guys teaming up next?
Yes, educational events are free, and we don't have a date yet, but it will be soon. And I think on Art's website and on our website, it will
Let
be
us know
announced,
and we'll
yes.
put it on
and I
the
would-
episode of All
and
Things
I would-
Heart.
And I would say, if people want to get, because you know what we created our own nonprofit and all.
Yes.
And it's still STILL, the number 4, life.org. But it tells just our story, you know, for our family and all. Because, you know, one of the things we recognize, like with Doc, he's got that specialty in there. We're not in the healthcare industry. We're not doctors or anything. Pharmaceutical, they have their knowledge. So we just want to tell our story. But if you go to our website, you know, it's stillforlife.org. It'll give you some information. Anything, if people have questions or anything we can help, you know, direct them right direction and all.
That's perfect.
We there.
Yeah.
Judy wants to know, are you open to sharing what was your treatment once you were diagnosed?
Well,
with this?
you know, they got 4 different types of treatments out there and all. And we had, you know, my doctor, and that's where it comes into play, you know, individual doctors, that's why we advocate for yourself, and your healthcare team can direct you in what they think is best for your situation and all too. So that's one of the things I always tell folks, man, that's your team, and we talk about teamwork and all too, getting this information out. You know, the medical field, they want to get it out there. You got doctors like Dr. Shaw and all that, and you know, want to get the information out there. They're kind of restricted. We want to get the information out, but when you can team up the pharmaceutical companies, community leaders and all,
great.
It takes it to another level.
It's really
I mean,
amazing.
to add, there are fantastic treatments now. The outcomes have changed drastically, and we have what we call stabilizers. They don't let the protein break, but the breakthrough has been the silencers, which go into the liver and stop protein.
Silencers.
Yes, and I think
like
silencers right now are very favored. You get a shot every 3 months. And they are but keep in mind, we have now, what the trials are going is one-time treatment. That's why it's so important in young people to get. If we have a gene, we can knock the gene out, and it's you have to come one time, get infusion, you are done.
And you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
thank
would
goodness.
be great.
And it's going to come into, that's why favored, you get a shot every 3 months. And they are but keep in mind, we have now, what the trials are going is one-time treatment. That's why it's so important in young people to get. If we have a gene, we can knock the gene out, and it's you have to come one time, get infusion, you are done.
And you're done.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that
thank
would
goodness.
be great.
And it's going to come into, that's why recognizing now is so important, so that they can get that treatment.
Yes. This has been such an eye-opening conversation. I just love having you all on. For today's takeaways, I want to start with Liz. Liz, what do you want our viewers to know?
I would like them to know that if they have any symptoms at all, don't dismiss them. Just, if anything, rule out amyloidosis. And also that the journey that we're on, I guess we call it, what we want to do is bring hope, not hopelessness. So because there's treatments out there, so it's not a hopeless situation, and that's really important.
And Dana, for you, you're nodding your head. And you've been, even before this program began, this show this morning, you were talking about this team that you have that really supports each other here within the health system.
Yeah, it kind of loops back to what Art was saying. We are a team. We have a wonderful nurse navigator, Elaine, who helps get our patients to be seen. We have nurses that help care for patients with amyloid, and we have wonderful heart failure pharmacist team. So it's a team approach, and really grateful that you all are getting the word out.
Art, what would you like our viewers watching? What's the one thing you want them to remember that they take away from this conversation?
Well, I would say, you know, the importance of family and all. I mean, and family is just team, family, it's all about the same and all. So just like in, you know, our situation right here, a lot of times when things happen in life, it's just, and we use the term, keep your head on a swivel, not only for yourself, but those around you, because you got family, friends, neighbors and all that might have symptoms like that. And we catch ourselves down as advocates, man. First thing I see some, you know, I was talking to some of the ball players, I always, you got swelling your feet and all. So it's just a matter of being observant, you know, what's going on around, and then passing the information on. When you pass the information on, it goes a long way, and all. That's why we're out kind of, you know, working along with Doc and all.
Team.
Yeah, and then, you know, certain cultures and all have a bad taste about, you know, the healthcare industry and all too. And I done learned my lesson in that. And I'm finding there's a lot of great doctors, great physician,
Nurse practitioners.
not physician,
Yep,
in
specialists.
the industry that want the best, but they can only do so much.
Right.
And again, it's just like anything else, you know, so I'm encouraging, you know, those in those communities and all, man, to reach out. They can reach out to us or whatever, but they have, you know, you have access to some knowledge out there, and these great doctors and healthcare systems, man, can make a world of a difference.
People who've dedicated their lives, their professional career, like Dana and Dr. Shaw, to treating amyloidosis.
Yes. And there's, I don't know how many of these doctors right here out that want to do something. They see the disparity too within the community and all, that, you know, we're connecting, doing the educational program, not only in the community, but also with the students, doctors going out in the field too, because a lot of times primary doctors, they're the front line, because that's who you go see first, and they direct you here and there, but they're aware of these symptoms and problems they might be able to direct in a different way.
Dr. Shaw, how special that you have this teammate educating awareness. Did you think you'd be a teammate of Art Still?
I never imagined.
That's the coach. That's the coach right there. I'm just,
The coach.
I said, put me in,
that's what he
coach.
said,
Yeah, put me in, coach.
What would be your message to people watching?
So yes, my message first would be to general population. If you have these red flag symptoms, especially carpal tunnel on both sides, unusually higher incidence of knee, shoulder, back problems, you have a biceps tendon rupture, please seek advice, talk to your primary care if this could be amyloidosis. Second would be to the backbone of health industry, that's nurse practitioners, that's nurses. Please be advocate for your patients. If you see in their chart they have these orthopedic symptoms, and then they have on top of that arrhythmias, pacemaker, heart failure, swelling, recurrent admissions. Please be their advocate and help them to reach this diagnosis.
It's a great message. Dr. Shaw, thank you.
Thank
Art,
you.
Liz, so fun having you on. Dana, thank you for coming on and sharing your expertise as well. This is a great conversation, and thank you to our viewers for joining the conversation.